Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means, goddammit. Welcome to the Turnbuckle Tavern presents the All Elite Wrap-Up. I'm good old Mike BELCASTER, and along with me are the most beautiful fucking tag team people in the whole world. Start naming yourselves off.
You know me, I'm the OG fake kid, Thomas Montalto.
I'm the Australian icon, Nick effing Storm, baby. Look at this. Oh, did you see that coming? No, you didn't. Boom.
It's the Ace of the Tavern, Stephen ACEFIELD. Happy to be here for a full time now AEW wrap-up show alum. So I'm here for the rest of the way, guys. I'm happy to be here.
And last but not least, a guest, and happy to be here. I am Stoney McGee, the OFG, big wrestling fan and big fan of the Tavern. Let's do this.
Let's go, guys.
I like it. So, how's everybody doing? First and foremost, we got to get our hellos out there, our fucking grievances. How you guys doing?
Fired up.
Oh, I'm fired up. That chat got me going. My blood is pumping. I'm ready to have an argument, but we'll get to it.
I wish I had some salt on me too.
I'll tell you right now, I'm hot. Temperature-wise, look-wise, attractiveness-wise, my mind, my mental is burning up on fire. Because I actually really enjoyed this Dynamite, I won't lie.
Really? You're Hawk? I didn't hear you. You got shit takes?
No, you don't. No. Look at this hair. Do you think with this hair I have shit takes? Obviously, but no, not this time.
Oh, it's the Cajun Pride champion.
Cajun Pride.
What's up,
Mo?
The best of the best. We got the Mofig dude, the Mofig god. Hell yeah.
What
He's
up?
super popular, I guess, tonight. I'm so glad he's here.
OFG popped a rating last time. We got like 415 views from that video that he was in, so we're happy to have you back, my man.
Up to 12 people watching us. Oh, guys, if you have Twitch, watch us on Twitch. It's super important. It will truly, truly help us. So if you're on Twitch, turn on your Twitch. Follow us there.
Save the shilling for the end, Tom.
No, I want them to turn it on now on Twitch.
You want to turn them on?
Yes.
OFG BMX is already here to turn everybody on.
I'm trying to share the link, but I didn't get a notification.
This is bastards.
Yeah, I don't have it on my Twitch yet either, actually, so I don't know what's going on. Usually it tells me it went live.
You know why? It's because YouTube's the place to be, baby. Woo!
Let's fucking go!
Let's get into it. Because we have some vast different opinions. What are we starting with?
Hold on, because we can't do it without that.
What do you guys want to talk about?
All right, well,
Purple
we'll get to it.
arms
We have a list of
and all
other
the
news
fun.
to get to, so I think we'll save that one for the last if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go!
All right, so let's pop right into the news because there are some things to talk about, some injuries and some things. We did have the final number of buys for Double or Nothing. So according to AEW head Tony Khan, this year's Double or Nothing did an estimated 155,000 pay-per-view buys. To give that into perspective, the total is a little bit down from February's Revolution that did an estimated 173,000, and AEW's all-time leader in September, which was 205,000. So the big change right now is AEW will run back-to-back months for the first time in company history this month with Forbidden Door on Sunday, June 26th. So, Mike BELCASTER, I'll start with you. Do you think there's any concern that the buy rates are down from February or just much to do about nothing?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a very, very tough one. Hold on. Oh, my buddy's tapping me on the shoulder.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Response to that. It's a holiday weekend. People might not be home. I think that could lead a lot into it. No? Okay.
No, money. I think it did good. I think the MJF thing might have hurt them a little bit. I think the overall card buildup was a little bit lackluster this time around compared to Revolution. So
Yeah.
I think there's some backlash that comes along with that. You don't have high buy rates if you're not promoting your shit right.
Well, Mike, you're not good enough to call Backlash.
Well, hey, if you're not good enough to call Judgment Day.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Guys, welcome to Raw Down. Let's get Raw. Let's get down.
Let's fucking go.
So enough about the buy rates, and there's a lot to be said about ratings and stuff. I'm not someone who really goes that deep into the ratings for TV shows and the buy rates, but it did well. I guess that's what we can say. It made a lot of money. So the next thing, we had Tony Storm on Renee Paquette's podcast, and this quote I wanted to pull from here, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. So her quote was, "Let's face it, they just fire people left and right and center out of the blue. I could be fired next week, and then it's like, what's the point?" It felt very pointless, to be honest, and it's very hard to convey that, especially to fans, especially the people that aren't in the business and will never understand. Obviously, that's about her time spent in WWE. So, FG, you're the guest here. What is your feelings on that? Do you agree with what Toni Storm is saying, or do you think it's just her having sour grapes about not getting over in WWE?
It's a little of both. I think it's sour grapes, but in WWE, it comes down to booking. And if you're not booked right, it doesn't matter what you have inside you. You're just going to flop. And that's just how it is. So it hurts to see like such talented people not utilized to their fullest potential. And this is the perfect scenario of it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, she's been silent since she's been gone. So this is the first time I hear her. She said much more than this. It was a longer conversation about her journey through wrestling. So it wasn't all negative, but this just spoke to me because she was a little bit more transparent than a lot of people would be. We've seen people on the way out blast WWE, but for the most part, there is an actual, air of professionalism when they're on these podcasts. And I thought she just was pretty honest. I mean, do you agree with that, Tom?
I didn't get to listen to it yet, but I very much look forward to listening to it because I actually was going to watch it on YouTube. Because if I have a choice to listen to Toni Storm or watch her, I would choose to watch her.
And I mean, the thing is with Renee Paquette's podcast, she always has great guests. Her Dax interview was great. So if you guys haven't checked out Renee Paquette's
podcast, I love her.
She's a great host, and everything she does is great. And then Toni Storm was a great guest on that one. So next story, this was announced on Dynamite. CM Punk had his surgery today, and it was successful, went as well as possible. No timetable for return. So we all discussed it in depth. If anyone wants to add to that, I don't know if there's anything to talk about right now because it's just sort of status quo.
I do want to say, Ace, I can't believe you didn't ask my opinions on my literal relative, Toni Storm, but that's fine. It seems all well is good with CM Punk, though, which is nice. It sounds like it's going to be a speedy recovery, nothing too major. So I think he'll probably be returning around All Out, Grand Slam, probably like September-ish, maybe August. Who knows? Maybe even July if we're cutting it close. Apparently, the surgery went so well. So who knows? It's just a matter of time now, and I need that summer of Punk. I tell you,
I wouldn't be shocked autumn of Punk. We'll see.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him walk out at the end of Forbidden Door.
Yeah. What if he shows up at Money in the Bank?
and he comes back with like the spinner title, like he's just been blipped away like an Endgame and Infinity War for 5 years or whatever.
Just pops his head through the door and be like, "Oh, this was the wrong door," and closes it and just goes back the other way.
It's him and MJF in the front row. They're just like, "What are we doing here?"
All right, so our next story here, we have MJF stuff, and we did speak about him a little bit in the beginning, but the latest step in the MJF work shoot saga has seen him removed from AEW promotional spots and commercials. So it's been reported on PW Insider that a source at Warner Brothers and Discovery said there was an edict issued last week to remove MJF from all promotional spots and commercials programs going forward. So they are going as deep as taking off his merch off the website. They're taking him out of promotions. If you notice, he wasn't in the intro video for Dynamite this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nick, I'll start with you since you're the one that didn't get the Toni Storm cheese that I sent your way. Do you still think that there's anything left with this? Do you think it's a shoot? Do you think it's a work, or is it just a really well done storyline?
You fucking mark! Fire me! Fire me!
Yes, that did happen. But I think it's definitely a shoot that devolved into a work. MJF, rightfully so, not happy with his contract. I mean, obviously he signed it however long ago when. Did he sign one of those 5 years deals? I'm guessing so, since the number was so small and he was kind of not as a familiar name as he is now, that's for sure. So I definitely like that there's some grievances to be aired, and I think Tony and MJF.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Holler net. Oh boy!
Let's fucking go!
Said, look, we can make something about this. But yeah, I think it's I think a shoot that's gotten itself into a work, and it's people are talking, and it's a hot topic right now. So
yeah, there was some discussion about him potentially being in that battle royal and winning the title, and I thought absolutely not. You have to continue this road you're down, make it as if it is a real life situation. Like if it was a real life situation after the way he behaved in that promo, there's no way that he would be put in a situation to win the championship. So let's have a little bit of kayfabe left in the world, right? So let's make sure that he wasn't going in there, but it could sell, but I don't want Punk and MJF anywhere near. I said this with Nick on the Indie News segment we did earlier today. I want Punk and MJF so far apart until next year. I don't want them touching until MJF and Punk are wrestling over the championship, probably early 2023, something like that.
No, fuck with that. You know what I think is it'd be awesome to see MJF show up at Death Before Dishonor, the Ring of Honor pay-per-view,
Right?
And be like, I'm poisoning this company. Fuck you, Tony Khan. It's something we haven't thrown out there. I'm just mark booking, but I think it'd be fun. It would be so good because it would be like shit.
Idea.
Yeah, see, and then we get MJF in the best place possible, #1 contender for the Ring of Honor championship. It'd be good.
So before we move on to our hot button issue, we have to talk about some injuries here. So I just want to give you guys updates. There are some injuries following Double or Nothing. So to start, Adam Cole was injured at Double or Nothing in his victory over Samoa Joe. They did not disclose what his injury was, but apparently he's not competing until Forbidden Door. It is said not to be serious. Also, Bryan Danielson pulled out of a meet and greet on Sunday. He was supposed to be in Bedford, Massachusetts. He said he was unable to fly, so he was unable to compete in the Battle Royal tonight. It is unknown what the injury was, but again, he should be back in 1 to 2 weeks. And then finally on the injury list, seems like the injuries are contagious all across wrestling, not just in AEW. Scorpio Sky says he suffered a leg strain on AEW Rampage. He said he should be good in a few weeks, which is probably why we didn't see him wrestle this week. So there's some light injuries, nothing serious. Obviously, Punk being the most serious. Any thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, we better get an interim championship for that TNT title then again.
Oh man, we're gonna get there in a second. Don't bury the lead, my friend. We will get there. I promise you.
That he's hurt, so I'm just saying we need an interim championship for 2 weeks, like we did with Cody when he had COVID.
Well, he was on TV this week. So, any other thoughts about the injuries? Anything to be made about this? Obviously, storylines are moving forward. Adam Cole is getting involved in the Hangman Okada thing, which I thought was interesting because Hangman Okada has been long rumored for the past, 4 weeks on the run. I think it's just a diversion to, make us believe we're not going to get Hangman Okada. I think that's eventually the match we're getting. Anyone disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that.
I mean, I think that's the match that everybody wants to see. I mean, I love Adam Cole, but I want to see Hangman go against Okada. I think that match sells for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to have...
Yeah. Sorry. You go.
What else?
Hold on, over here.
The All-Atlantic, because this is what got the chat blowing up. I think at one point, Hawk had about 159 unread messages in his chat.
But let's see. Hawk also had like 60 phone calls that he missed. If you saw that text,
I did see that. It was very bizarre.
He not answer his phone at all.
It was very bizarre.
I don't like talking.
It's a wonder he even answers the segment for Call to Hawk if he doesn't answer his goddamn phone. So it's amazing.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, fellas? Let's go.
All right, so let's go with this news story. Let me get to it before we start the argument. I think we'll go round robin on this because everyone has their strong opinions. I will give you how it's laid out, and then everyone can have their say. I promise everyone will have their say. And in the chat, if you guys are feeling a certain way, we will put your comments up, and of course, we will talk about them. So, AEW has announced a 4-way match that will determine its first ever All-Atlantic champion. So on tonight's Dynamite, it was announced that a 4-way match to crown the first All-Atlantic champion will take place at Forbidden Door on June 26th in Chicago. The first qualifying match took place tonight with Pac defeating Buddy Matthews in an absolute banger, by the way. Other qualifying matches, if you look at the tournament bracket, we'll have Ethan Page facing Miro, Penta facing Malachi Black, and then a fourth qualifying match will feature 2 participants from New Japan Pro Wrestling who have not been announced. The winners of these matches will qualify for the All-Atlantic Championship match at Forbidden Door in a fatal 4-way. So New Japan on Twitter wrote that more information regarding New Japan's participation will be determined at a later date. Tom, I'll let you start. You were the most heated in the chat, I think. Air your grievances, my friend.
I've been a WWE fanboy all my life, okay? I'm finally escaped it and gone somewhere where the champions actually mean something again. There's not too many of them. There's only 2, so it's not loaded with title matches up and down a card when you get a pay-per-view. They're not, other than the TNT title, you're not having titles change hand every other week on TV. More titles make all the other titles mean less. Less is more with these titles. We don't need another friggin' title if you were going to bring in the trios, that would have made a little more sense. It's not a singles championship.
They're still
So now
coming.
you're doing
Don't worry. Don't worry. They're coming.
Exactly, more
Yeah,
titles.
they're coming.
So now we're going to get to an AEW pay-per-view where every goddamn match is going to be a fucking title match instead of having good stories leading to a good grudge match. There's no more good grudge matches anymore. We had it with Punk and MJF. Build matches that way. You don't need a title to have a good match. It doesn't
Step down, nerd.
It doesn't make the title mean anything, the match anymore.
Wait. Let me throw this wrench out there. There's no good grudge matches, but Anarchy in the Arena was a good grudge match.
That was awesome.
That was what, a week ago. I mean,
I just mentioned Punk and MJF. You tell good stories, you could have
that
good
was
matches.
2 months ago.
You don't need the title to do it. You don't need a title. You don't need to keep making up titles. Like we said, they're going to come up with the title for every state, and it only gets defended in that state.
That's
should.
hyperbole, my friend. Come on. We're at 6 titles right now. 6 titles is not too much. And I'll tell you guys why.
Tony Khan said we can't even imagine how many titles he has made up, and now we're seeing it.
Okay, if we get to the
poking
point
you.
where it's too many titles, then I will admit. But right now, I don't feel they're at that way. And here's why.
You don't need 3 singles.
We
men.
have the lineage of history of wrestling that supports that more than 6 titles can be successful. And tournaments. We're complaining about tournaments and what people get from them. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which was booked by Jim Cornette. We had 3 tournaments a year, the Carolina Tag Team Cup, the King of Kentucky Cup, and also another cup that was they had different names for it, but it was a 3rd tournament. Other titles in there, world title, TV title, tag title, US title. So it was 4 plus them. AWA, which is heralded as one of the best booked promotions all time. Vern Gagne, Wally Carbo. They had about 12 championships. We had at one point an AWA Brass Knuckles Championship. We had a British Empire Heavyweight Championship. We had the Americas Championship. We had the Southern Heavyweight Championship. We had the World Light Heavyweight Championship. We had the Midwest Heavyweight Championship. We also, by the way, had the Southern Tag Team Championships and the Midwest Tag Team Championships. So AWA got all this credit for how well they were booked, and they had all those titles. I'm not saying we should have those many titles, but we should be thankful that we don't. Right?
As a kid who used to watch AWA, I never saw that many titles on AWA.
They had to go look it up. Brass Knuckles Championship. I watched some old AWA the other day. Also, NWA booked by Jim Crockett. How many titles do they have? The world title, the women's title, the TV title, the junior world heavyweight, tag, women's national championship. That's 10. That's 7 titles. I can't count. 7.
And facts, and you can't even count to 7.
Yeah, I can't even count to 7. I'm so fired up here.
He's got so
and then
much going
also
on.
too, we also have Tony Khan being inspired by UFC. How many championships are in UFC right now? Can we count? The heavyweight championship, the light heavyweight championship, the middleweight championship, the welter, the light, the featherweight, the bantamweight, and the flyweight. That's just for the men. So real competition has championships on the line. My last thing I'm going to say, and I'll let you guys go. So you guys can all talk about whatever you want to talk about. When you don't have things to go and achieve, when you have divisions that are not able to have things to earn. The Hurricane in 2002, when you got rid of the World Heavyweight Championship and combined it with the IC title, and there was just one title, he had nothing to strive for. There's so many people on this roster that have nothing to strive for. There's people that are not going to win the world title. There's people that are not going to win the TNT title. They have to go for something else. So I think at this point, you need it to be built into storylines to have something to achieve. It doesn't take away from storylines. It doesn't water it down. It's just a matter of having something to achieve. Not everyone, if it's booked poorly, sure, the title sucks. But at one point, the European Championship on WWF television was a meaningful title. So it can be booked right.
I disagree. I hated that title, and it never meant shit.
The what?
Yeah.
I hated the European title. It was never needed back then.
Tell that to D'Lo fucking Brown, man.
And also tell it to the UK audience that enjoyed having a champion that main evented their shows. It's not just about America being in our bubble. It's about other people. Talk to Nick Storm about being represented as a championship.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking awesome seeing Buddy in there, like, Aussie rep. And I think, this might or not be true. This is just what I'm gaining from it, but it's just like, it seems like it's going to be more of an international-based title, and it's like a mainly North American people on the roster, right? So you're not going to flip-flop it around, and I think if you give it to Miro, he could make a really good first impression of the title, regardless whether or not we're going to get bangers out of this tournament, and I'm very happy for it, and I think the idea for it is awesome, and it's not getting to the point of WWE yet which I'm more than happy about. So that's what I'm really celebrating over here.
All right, Sony, bring us your points.
It's bittersweet to me because that was one of the prettiest, sexiest belts I've ever seen in my life. With that said, throw it in the garbage, put it somewhere else. We got enough. I agree with everything you said about the more you have, the less they mean. And if everyone's a champion, then no one's champion. So,
Everyone's a winner, baby. That's no lie.
OFG, can I ask you a question? What title does Buddy Matthews go after if he does not have this title to go after now?
why does he have to go after a title? Why
what
can't
is he wrestling for then? But like, what's his aspiration to do? Just gonna float around the roster? He has nothing to go for. The cruiserweights need a championship belt because the cruiserweight division existed. If you create this all Atlantic division because it's international stars or whatever it's going to be, we don't even know what kind of title it's going to be, what kind of rule set. If it's just a one fault, we don't know because it's just been introduced on the fly. We're all reacting very knee-jerk reaction here. But at the same time, these championships can work. Look at New Japan right now. They have the U.S. title, the World Heavyweight title, the Junior Heavyweight Championship, and the Never Openweight Championship. And those are just the singles championships. They also have a 6-man and also a tag team. And people talk about New Japan at one point being the best book promotion in the world. Just because it doesn't, like I talked about with Tanahashi, just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it's not good.
You're right. You're right.
Strong personalities clashing means more than the title. I agree 100%.
I'll go with that. But like, I'm old school, and I'll be the first to say it. Like, I am old, so when I'm watching, in my head, it's still like 1980s, and all you need is a world championship, an intercontinental championship, and tag straps, and those are what you work. You work for the intercontinental strap, and you're the number one contender, and then you jump into the main event for the world championship. Now, everything you said, nothing wrong with it. Me being as old school as I am, but as you pointed out with Bax, every Fed had all kinds of belts. But it's just how I prefer it, and as I'm watching it, it doesn't come off as, wow, that's awesome. It just, my personal instinct is, oh, another belt, and that's where I'm at with that.
I mean, that's a fair statement. As long as you're taking it from the perspective, I just don't like it. That's fine. That's like that. But for people that are stating in our chat and also on social media, because it's not just the tavern guys that are saying it, because it's I would say the majority of people don't like it. And I guess that is going with the side of what Tom and what young Anthony and what J-Bone's saying and what you're saying, OFG. But the problem is people are just basing it on their opinion. I just don't like it. It's okay not to like it, but for you to say it's not going to work, that's just false, because it could work. This is the first night it's ever been.
Oh, it could work. It could absolutely work. You're right. That comes down to booking, and I can't say I have the confidence for that to work yet. Like
that's a fair statement.
There's signs of it. There's things going in the right directions. I just don't think it's gelled together as it needs to be at this point.
Can we put up the comment with the build fucking stories? I agree. Stories need to be created, but the best stories in wrestling have to do with championship belts. They can be created without them.
Right, MJF
the best championships
didn't have a championship belt.
But name most of the stories in wrestling. Go through them. A lot of them had championship belts and decided over them. Just saying.
Piper and Snuka, they didn't have a championship belt.
Okay, but you're naming ones right now off the top of your head, but there's plenty right now. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan was one of the best matches. Why? Because it was title for title.
Sting versus Hulk Hogan, WCW, that's an iconic moment. Forget about the match itself, you know. Even Hangman Omega, like, that was over the title, like, you know, for the big win, and Hangman had a hell of a run. So that's just like in recent memory.
So also, too, to bring this to sports, what happens if there's a baseball league that there's no title being, like, you can't win a title? You're just going to go out there and play baseball for fun? There needs to be championships to go for. Some guys are not world title contenders. At the end of the day, some guys are not going to win the world title. So what are they there for?
But Boney's throwing McMahon Austin out there.
Yeah, but the world title was involved in that. McMahon was fucking world champion.
He was, and he also fucking went out of his way to screw Austin out of
the title had everything to do with McMahon Austin. Thanks for proving my point, J-Bone.
Here's my thing. What about, okay, so we just had a pay-per-view that didn't even have the TNT title on it because they didn't care enough about it. So we're gonna go 3-6 months from now. The next 2 pay-per-views, we're gonna be like, oh, they have this new title, and now it's not even on the pay-per-view. Show us that you care about the TNT title first. Fix the mess you turn that into, which they kind of seem like they were tonight with the whole Wardlow thing. Like, I was happy to see him say he wants that title. That could possibly fix it if he goes on a nice mega run when he eventually, destroys Scorpio Sky finally, thank God, and get him off our TV again for another year. But that's a hot take.
But the thing is, like,
Sky's injured
why does the TNT
right now.
title have to do anything with this title? They're two separate things. Like, people are
They're
talking
not
about like they're
booking it, but
interchangeable.
They ruined it. So now you're bringing on another title when you've already ruined one.
So nothing can be brought on to the company because they fucked up the TNT title. I'm not disagreeing with the TNT title's been booked poorly, but nothing else can be added to the company because they messed up one thing. It makes no sense.
Let's fix
The world title's been booked correctly. The tag title's been booked correctly. The women's title's been kind of.
I'm really impressed with what they did with the tag team titles, having the Jurassic Express go over at the pay-per-view over 2 tag teams who weren't really established tag teams. So I was quite happy with that. I didn't expect it. So they have booked that properly. I agree.
I'm okay with the argument that someone doesn't like that many titles, but to say it's like it's going to ruin the show, and so, like you were saying,
No,
you
I
might
said-
have been exaggerating in the chat, like you're going to not watch AEW because it's an extra title.
I'm not gonna watch.
But that's what you said in the chat, though. That's what I was saying. That was being dramatic. I mean, you
I
were.
never said I was not gonna watch it. I said it's ruining it for me.
This looks
Okay.
like a tag
I'd
team to
much
me.
rather. I just think less means more. A part of the thing I loved about defecting from WWE and coming to AEW is only having 2 titles, and it means something when that person holds them because not everybody has to have a title. That's why I used to, as a kid, and Stoney will agree with me, as a kid, I used to be able to name every Intercontinental Champion and every World Champion because there weren't many of them. So it meant so much more when you did have one.
You could name every TNT
So-
champion.
The thing is, there's a lot of things talking about how the TNT title.
I can, Mike. I can.
See, there you go.
There's a lot of talk in the chat about that TNT title is the mid-card title. I disagree. It's the TV title. Every wrestling company had a TV title aside from WWE. Again, get out of the federation mindset. The TV title is the TNT title. It gets defended
This
on
had a
TV.
title involved in
And
it, by the
US
way.
and IC title
This-
are the mid-card titles.
That had titles involved in it. Intercontinental title.
Hardy and
World
Punk was
Tag
fucking
Team
amazing
Championship.
as well. That came off the
And
heels
also
of
Lita.
Edge and Hardy.
Lita's a title too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lita's a fucking. She was a title.
Rather, like it's the thing. Like whether or not there is a title involved, you don't have to make that the story. Or, of course, you can challenge for it. You can make it a story around a title. Like it's not going to change the fact that there's a story being like played out, which I think people are forgetting. I don't know.
It also needs to be people's. What do you think the motivation should for a pro wrestler be? Should it be championships or should it be?
It's be
good
the
feuds?
best in the roster.
But I
Right?
think that's the disconnect right now. I think I for one think every wrestler every match they have should be striving towards something. And a guy like Buddy Matthews, he's sitting in a tree until the trios titles are created. That's a different story. But for right now, he's just floating around doing nothing. A guy like Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, is he going to be the world champion ever? Is he really?
If your goal as a professional wrestler is not to be the champion of that league, you should never be wrestling.
So in 2002, Hurricane Helms is going to win the fucking world title.
That should be his goal to get himself over enough.
He's going to win the world title, so he should never compete for anything.
No, but why shouldn't his final goal be to get to the world
Because
championship?
he's Hurricane Helms. He's a mid-carder. He's never going to win the world title.
Have you seen a mid-carder build himself up to become champion?
Not Hurricane Helms.
He's fought me for a bag of weed. I'll tell you.
I was there. He really did.
My point being is Hurricane Helms was a damn good European champion. That's my final statement on that. I love all of you guys. This is a good debate.
Yeah. No, listen. It's you can't say that the shitty titles don't mean anything. I mean, it's something for somebody. Al Snow would have no credibility if there was no hardcore championship. He would have just been fucking Big Boss Man's bitch. It just adds on to things. Everything is part of the story, no matter how you look at it. You can paint it in a million different directions. Every title at some point has made sense up until the recent years, because then they just throw it around like it's fucking oxygen. It doesn't matter anymore.
The reason why I'm okay with it is because I put the TNT and the TBS title in their own little section, which is the TV title. And every company aside from WWE, ECW, WCW have mid-card titles and TV titles. So the US Championship and the IC Championship existed on their own. The TNT title hasn't been booked like a TV title at all, but it should. It should be defended every single night on TV when Cody had it. That's how it should be booked.
That's why it worked.
But it's a TV title. It's not in the same vein as a mid-card title. It's just not. And that's the way I look at it.
Back to the 80s and the 90s, the Intercontinental title meant so much to the WWF.
Yeah.
It's an important heritage.
So that's going to be the All Atlantic Championship.
I hope so, but
It can be, yeah.
It can be.
Why not?
gonna have
The TNT title is certainly not that.
you can say the same thing when they add another championship next year.
But
Can we put up Anthony's comment about is your goal not fighting for the world title?
There we go. Oh, hold on.
All right.
We're gonna
If your goal
block
isn't
him in
fighting
2
for the world
seconds.
title, you shouldn't be on the roster. You don't think Hurricane is good for the world? Cool. That's where TNT comes in. No, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
No, I disagree with that because you need another title in between.
Yeah.
And the All Atlantic Championship could just at some point we don't know even the whole background. It could just be guys from other countries competing for the title.
Jay,
Now we're just nitpicking. All Atlantic is a great.
What the fuck, dude?
Come on.
People that live near the Pacific Ocean. What?
And also put Chad's coming on there too, because the trios titles are coming. So I don't want to hear the argument in chat. Just accept it now.
No,
Accept it.
already
Let
built
it internalize. It's
They've
happening.
already built up a trios division where a year ago I didn't want it. Now I'm fine with the trios.
We have a full mid card division with guys have nothing to do right now.
And they're all
Why
from
don't we
different places in the
create a
world.
division for guys like Dante Martin, like the lightweight title or junior weight title.
That's the Dante Martin can compete for the All Atlantic Championship.
I mean, I think a lightweight title would have been better. A junior
You would have
heavyweight.
been okay with a lightweight championship being added to this roster. I thought everyone's heads would explode.
No,
Yeah.
those are the guys you have to compete in that division that would give these guys that aren't doing much something to fight for.
So if they announced a light heavyweight championship in this roster, you'd be like, oh, that's cool. I like it.
But the thing is, there, like, you can't have Miro fighting for a light heavyweight title. Like, it's kind of all encompassing.
TNT or the world title. But
Doesn't
you give it
matter.
But the TNT title is not a mid card title. They made that clear. It is a TV title. It should just be defended on fucking TNT. It's a TNT title.
Yeah.
It's a television championship. That's what it is.
It's been defended on pay-per-views before. I've got no problem with that. That's still on TV.
I understand that, but I'm just saying
Oh,
it should
so
be
was
booked.
the
You should have the
Mexican
All Atlantic is
World
their IC
Championship.
championship. That's how it should be booked, and I think that's how it will be booked.
The Mexican World Championship, as WCW called it, which was the AAA belt, was defended on pay-per-views, and it didn't mean dog shit. Conan was the fucking champion through all of '96. Nobody gave a fuck about it. Not one single person. At least they're trying to put some fucking honor behind a belt and make it the Mid-Atlantic Championship, All-Atlantic, whatever the fuck it's called. Doesn't matter. It's still there.
And not to mention, too, they're eventually going to travel to Europe. They're going to try to sell out big buildings in London. They need to have titles that have some sort of lineage to Europe and other countries. It can't just be centric around North America. They need to have championships that have a little bit of international flair.
For me, like, being international and, you know, not being an Americano, if you couldn't freaking tell.
you have no say in this, Nick Storm.
No, I have more say because I think it's, like, super cool. Like, there's not been a lot of representation from the Australian side for a lot of years, you know, so there's not many. I can't get behind the British people. I can't get behind the you know, the other international peeps if they're not Australian, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like all here for it. Like the fact that Buddy Matthews was represented like that, I think was really cool. And if they do do an Australian show and say there is like more Australian wrestlers fighting for the title, that's fucking awesome. Like I'm here for it. So
Yeah, no, I agree with
Is
Nick.
the Universal Championship be defended in the fucking universe? What are we doing, guys? Come on.
I'm waiting for Money in the Bank on Mars.
It has to be. Yeah, it has to be defended on the fucking moon.
Where's fucking Survivor Series on Pluto? Like, sorry, Pluto's not a planet.
All I'm saying is that there's precedent set. This isn't unprecedented. It's not like Tony Khan's going in to be like, I'm going to reinvent wrestling. This has been done, and it's been done well across many different promotions. Just because it's not everybody's cup of tea, that's a different story. But for people to spit facts that it's like it's never going to work, it can't work, it's just impossible to work, that's just false. It has worked in the past, and I bet you in 6 months' time, if you guys aren't stubborn enough, you're gonna be like the All Atlantic division fucking rocks. It's like the old school IC title division.
What a Bill Twats fucking take right here too. You sound like that jabroni that's calling into the fucking tavern hotline talking shit. It doesn't make any sense, man. They have nothing but foreign talent on this fucking bracket. That's what makes it so meaningful.
I think what's the problem right now too is Ring of Honor titles are still out there, right? AAA titles are on FTR, so it's like making aesthetically, people are seeing a lot of titles. But Hawk was bringing up the Owen Hart titles; those aren't defended; those aren't titles.
Once a year.
Whether you receive a fucking cup or you receive the title doesn't matter. You won one tournament, can't be defended. Doesn't count.
That's it. And Martha even gave the this is the last you'll see of me for now, because they're going to do it again next year, because they should. It should be a fucking annual thing that makes it more prestigious. They're not watering it down. Adam Cole's just going to walk around with a belt for fucking 12 months, and nobody can handle that shit.
I do want to say one thing here as well. The Sammy and Ty thing, obviously that was a mistake. But if they made this mistake twice, that's jazz, baby. That's what that is. Oh, my camera's falling. Make a mistake twice in a row, that's jazz.
That's jazz.
Fuck that. I don't want to hear that. But
I think we all need to reserve our full judgment, me included, being on the positive side of it. We need to reserve judgment because I think we have to see how everything shakes out. If the TNT Championship is now going to be strictly booked like a television title, like it was in the beginning when Cody was champion, also when Darby was champion, it felt like an old school WCW television championship. We need a mid-card championship. If that was being booked like the TV title, you need another title secondary for a guy who's just above that level. Malachi Black, Miro. Those guys are both guys that are not going to be in the world title picture anytime soon, but they need to be doing something. We complain about how Malachi's not on TV doing anything. If he's not going to be in a trios championship, he needs something to do.
Yeah, and if they win this, if they win this title, build prestige.
You can't make a good story for him. He's
been a year-long feud with Death Triangle, which is a good story, but it doesn't go to the next level because there's no championship involved. It just gets lost on the card.
What other stories to go so what you're saying is, in order for a story to go to the next level, you need a title.
Most of the time. Yeah, most of the time.
Terrible take.
Transcendent stars can create stories. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart can make stories out of no championship. Rock and Hogan, no championship involved. But for the most part, when you have levels of talent who are just good in the ring, but they're not to the next level because right now AEW doesn't have that many transcendent stars. I would say they probably have none, right? There's no guy who's going to take the company to the next level as far as like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You need something for people to try to achieve. And if they don't have something to achieve, what's the point of fucking wrestling?
This makes no sense. You're not defending a participation trophy. You're defending a fucking title in wrestling. Like, hello?
The Atlantic title, for fuck's sake, man.
Also, I do want to say, Ace's pipe bomb here fucking trumps Young Anthony's. I'm just saying. He's going off. You're going off. You're making my mouth dry with how much you're talking, and I fucking love it. So.
And I also, just before we move on, when Tanahashi wins the AEW Interim Championship at Forbidden Door, just like Tom predicted as well.
We agree on something.
You guys will have to accept that. It's going to happen. Just because you don't know Tanahashi doesn't mean he doesn't exist. His body of work has been existing since 1999. He's the Japanese Shawn Michaels. Enjoy the fucking ride, like Mike Belcaster says.
That's what you got to do.
They also wrestled over the championship before that.
Had a streak at WrestleMania that didn't involve a title.
Okay, but again, Undertaker, transcendent star. Do they have an Undertaker now on the roster? They don't.
They can still have stories without titles like that. They can still have stories without titles. Like it doesn't factor out this. Like you have so much space on the roster.
Blood and fucking guts. Where's the title on that?
Exactly.
There's no fucking title there. It's still a good fucking storyline. It doesn't matter. Let them do what they're gonna do and let it happen. Let it be organic. Let's fucking fucking go,
dude. MJF go back. We need to move on in a second because this show is gonna go 3 hours.
MJF has never held the title, and he's told the best stories in AEW. Case closed.
But end of the day, MJF wants to win the world title. You want him just like floating through the roster without the world title involved?
3 years, he hasn't, and he's told the best.
How good would it be for MJF to win the All Atlantic Championship a year ago? That would have been amazing. He would have done a great job with that title. MJF needed an IC championship a year ago. You just proved my point. It would have been amazing.
Eddie Kingston is
Eddie Kingston
his own shit right now. He doesn't need a fucking title. He is the next level guy because he doesn't need a fucking title.
But Eddie Kingston's never going to win the world title. As much as we love Eddie Kingston, he's not winning the world title ever on the roster. He needs to
see it happening.
I would love to see him win a championship, and it could be the All Atlantic Championship.
I would love to see him win the fucking world title because it's Eddie Kingston. We're not arguing.
Join the Discord. I'll argue with all you guys all day. Join the Discord. TurnbuckleTavern.com. Support the tavern. I love you guys all. And also, listen to the flagship tomorrow morning. I'm sure they're going to give pipe bomb takes on there as well.
They have pipe bomb takes because they have right fucking takes. There you go. The TurnbuckleTavern.com. Join that goddamn community. See, look. You're lucky, Tom. We have the flagship to record. Sneed, get on here. Fucking come out here like Eddie Kingston. Fucking throw this motherfucker
Hurricane
down.
Helms, baby, world champion.
Here that they're bringing another fucking title in. It's fucking terrible.
Hurricane Helms, world champion.
It's six titles.
I want them to prove me wrong. The men's division does not need another fucking singles title.
Tom, wait.
Prove me wrong.
Tom, what's up with that?
Look at the roster page. There you go. That's your fucking.
So
Look how vast
So
it
many
is.
fucking wrestlers. You don't have to hire so many.
Okay, well that's a
don't
different
have to
conversation.
so many.
We can't go on a different tangent.
That is a completely
stay on the
different
same
conversation
road.
altogether.
Stay on the road. Let's not get off the
fucking
exit.
Our argument is we have too many people. We need more titles. Don't
No.
hire so many. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
I like the roster the way it is. I just think everyone needs
I
to
do
have
too.
something to achieve.
I do too. I
Yeah.
love the roster. But if
Let
your argument
me
is
throw it at you.
You're
this way.
screaming very loudly right now, I think.
Wait, hold on. Back in the ECW, at some point, almost every single match was blood and guts gore, and there was color every time New Jack came. Well, that's a different situation, but there was like blood, 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 and at some point, the blood just meant less because every match had it. And don't be the belts that way.
I mean, not right now, but it could be if there were 10 belts, 11 belts, 12 belts.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I would see that. But it's only 6 for a roster that is more bloated than the 2001 WWF roster. They have more stuff, more guys on the roster.
That doesn't
need
make it
something to
okay
do.
though. Just because it's more
No.
bloated, like WWF was wrong to be that bloated to begin with. You know.
No, but they had so many talented guys, bloated in a good way. I think you guys are saying you guys are saying bloated as it's not negative to me. The bloated roster means there's so many guys on the roster with nothing to do, no direction. Championships help give direction and help guys get to a point where you can build meaningful stories because maybe it's not going for the All-Atlantic Championship, but they have a match that's like number one contendership, or they're in that division. They're building rankings towards it. So there's sub stories that don't even have to do with the title that helps build stronger stories and feuds. The best feuds have to do with championship belts. I'll support that all day. The best feuds have to do because at the end of the day, you're trying to win a championship. I agree, Austin. I thought the trios titles were coming. I marked out on my couch. But here I am talking about the All-Atlantic Championship because it's going to be the modern day Intercontinental Championship, and I'm here for it. Now, what's a work and what's a shoot?
I
Who
hope you're
fucking
right.
knows?
I hope you're right, Ace. I hope that is what it becomes. I hope you're 100% right.
It probably will, because
So,
Tony's fucking
The last
wild.
point, I keep saying last point, because we do need to move on eventually, and we have a lot of good stuff to talk about aside from just a championship belt that hypothetically will be won at Forbidden Door. We're watching WCW 1996 and Shot Nostalgia. Cheap plug for that. Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. We're like all the way through April. It's a great ride. People would say that is the most financially successful time in wrestling from 1996 to 1999.
Yeah.
Go back and look at WCW's championship belt and go look at WWF championship belts. There's something for everybody to do. Just saying.
True. You're not wrong. Even the Mexico championship.
Yeah.
God
and
damn
is
it.
it. And Tom, the fact that you said Cruiserweight Championship would be okay with you just kind of proves our point. You just don't like this championship belt. You don't like that it's like a mid-card
These
title.
guys can be competing for the title. You have younger guys, these young guys that are just up and comers. If they're fighting for a lightweight title, would give them more meaning. I think another title would be more meaningful for them than it does.
I think Ace, you bring up a good point. TV title, leave that to TV. You need a mid-card title because if you just bring in a light cruiserweight, whatever, a light heavyweight, if you bring in a specific title, Miro's not going to hold that. Miro can hold an All-Atlantic title. Dante Martin can hold an All-Atlantic title. And you leave the TV title for just TV matches that, whatever. So
there's got to be a difference in the division. I think that's where we can all agree on that the TNT title and also the All-Atlantic Championship can't be interchangeable. You have to have guys that use the TNT title to kind of build up to being the All-Atlantic Championship and then eventually the world title. The best time in wrestling, and you guys would agree with this, you talk about the Intercontinental title being like the guy who was the Intercontinental Champion is going to be the next big star of wrestling. And we need something like that in AEW because the guy who's the TNT Champion, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone that's been TNT Champion has never won a world title. So it hasn't been a stepping stone at all. Cody's never won it. Obviously he could have. Darby, Miro, guys, it's not a next stepping stone. We need an IC title.
Very much to be said if the Ring of Honor titles weren't being defended. Would you guys be bitching so much?
True. That's a good point, too.
I wouldn't.
See, that's what I'm saying. So Ring of Honor they got their pay-per-view coming up, so that they're going to separate eventually. You're not going to see the Wheeler Yutas as the Ring of Honor pure champion, and shit's going to disappear, and we're going to have less titles. But more AEW titles, less outside of the bubble titles. So I think this is where it brings an importance to it, and your judgment might be more clouded because of that. I think you see Wheeler Yuta. I think you see fucking FTR with the Ring of Honor tag titles. It's overstimulating, but all that matters is the AEW title, the AEW tag titles, the TNT, TBS, women's, and fucking what with the All Atlantic Championship. So you're talking there's 6 titles. That's not that bad. It ain't that bad at all.
I'm speaking.
Tony, at the end of the day, is
AEW titles.
Tony is a WCW kid. He loves WCW, and he's building his whole company around what WCW was successful with. And I hope he doesn't take everything, because obviously WCW did a lot of shitty things. They had tag titles that were just mid-card tag titles. They had the World Tag Team Championship, and they also had the United States Tag Team Championship in the beginning of the 90s. That sucks. I don't want to see anything like that. Even though the AEW tag division probably could sustain that, but that would fucking suck. And I would be telling you that. You had a women's cruiserweight championship at one point. Do we need to see that? Probably not. We had 6-man championships in WCW. Do we want to see that? Of course we do. So there's things that they do right and things that they do wrong. But he uses WCW for better or for worse. He modeled a lot of what Dynamite is after Nitro. He's modeling a lot of the way his storylines work after WCW. And if you like that style of booking, it's for you. But some people are used to the WWF, WWE way of thinking, and it's hard to get out of your own head sometimes.
I got a rebuttal to this though too. Hold on, before that one goes up. 4 titles. Then why aren't you fucking doing an Impact review show instead of doing the Raw Down? There's my answer to that. Because there's only 4 fucking titles on Impact. Because nobody watches that shit to begin with. Okay, and nothing against it, but still, like, what are you fucking? Yeah, I hope Raw, and I hope we have title diabetes by the end of the fucking year.
No, Anthony, I just heard the microwave go ding. Bottle's ready, baby. Time to sip up. Time to sip up, dude. Time to drink the bottle.
It's a big bottle.
Part of the thing that turned me away from WWE was every time I'd watch a pay-per-view, every match was a title match. I don't want that happening.
But WWE's booking of their championships being shitty it's not because of the fact there's that many of them. It's because their booking sucks.
It's also too many of them. It's also
no, that's not. But if they were booked well,
I don't want to see a card where every match is a title match.
But that's not the case in AEW, and it won't be the case.
I hope you're right.
There were 12, 13 matches on Double or Nothing. There's 6 titles. The math doesn't add up to me. There's going to be matches that are on title matches.
Tom's doing Steiner math.
I hope so. I don't want that.
6 titles and 12 fucking matches. We're gonna put 3 together. We're gonna divide them by 12.
50% of the titles should be matches. Come up with stories for other guys. That you don't need titles involved in every story.
They've tried, but we complain every week. Malachi Black has nothing to do, and now he has something to do, and we fucking everyone wants to shit on it. Like, what are we doing? Like, Malachi Black needs something to do.
That's it. That's
the story. It doesn't need to involve a title.
It should.
He tried that. He for a year he's been feuding with Death Triangle. They've been trying to do that. He's not on TV.
How long ago was he fucking feuding with Cody? It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
You guys fucking your
right.
memory is snapping. But that was a big fucking deal. Just because
push Hurricane Helms. Push Hurricane. We need him as world champion.
Let's all get a freeze frame of just that real quick, please.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through for some refund. See? I'll go get my cake right now. No.
Everyone, first of all, thank you in the comments for participating. This is amazing. You guys are lighting up the comments. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Turnbuckle Tavern if you have not. There's a lot of familiar faces in there, so I'm sure you guys are already part of the tavern. But if you happen to be one of those people that just stumbled upon us, debates like this happen every week, whether it's on here or the Raw Down or the debate show. Obviously, we have content coming at you 5-6 days a week, guys. So
listen, bro,
stay tuned. Put on the notifications.
Bro,
Vince Russo is going to book this shit right into the ground, baby.
Kings, bro.
Good book it, bro.
Nobody can book a better podcast than the Turnbuckle Tavern, bro.
So come let's say December, the first episode of the show in December. Let's remember to look back and see what we think of this title coming in.
Everybody book like shit. Fair enough, but it doesn't. The difference is being booked like shit isn't the same that the title shouldn't have existed at all. The Intercontinental title deserves to exist, but it's being booked like shit. So you're going to get rid of the Intercontinental title because it's being booked like shit right now?
No, they should fix the booking.
Put it back up. Put it back up.
Hold on. There he is. Oh. Yeah, I don't. Oh.
There we go.
It's our title making daddy.
Relax.
It's not what?
Yeah. But yes, to agree or disagree, we're going to see what happens with the titles. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think it's time we move on. We spent too much time talking about bullshit that we don't even know. So let's
Listen! Yo!
It's time for your pick 3, gentlemen. No more hearsay about titles. They're gone. There's no titles. Matches be damned. There's no titles. We'll go with OFG BMX since he's the guest with the best. Throw me your number 3, sir.
My number 3 moment or my number 3 match?
It could be either or. It's up to you. Whatever one makes you feel more hollies in your jollies.
All right. I'm going to throw this. Like, this is a little different. I don't like battle royals. I hate battle royals because it's all just fluff until the last 4 people. And you can throw a couple angles in there, but generally they get lost. During that clustercuss of a battle royal, Keith Lee and Archer had a moment where, and I kind of look for things that grab me and jump out at me and say, ooh, what's going on with that? They did that. They did exactly that. And I was drawn in, and when it was done, I wanted more. And that's what I want from professional wrestling. That right there. And that's my number 3. Like it didn't steal the show by any means. Most likely us talking about it is going to be where it stops, but I liked it.
It reminds me of when I think it was Luke Harper and Braun Strowman came face to face in the WrestleMania Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They had that they never did anything with it afterwards. Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah,
no, it's a great spot though.
Yeah,
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing big meaty men. Yeah.
Also, the Swerve and Keith Lee thing, that was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories built.
Stories in this battle royal tonight.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was a fun battle royal. It wasn't the drizzling shits. It was
no, I mean it just really made the roster. It highlighted how many guys were on the roster that probably could have won this. It was weird booking. Obviously, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point.
How many guys who could have been in this battle royal that weren't?
Exactly, too. You got Hangman, who was just absent, and Wardlow as well. So,
how many guys that were in this battle royal that will be the All-Atlantic champions?
Exactly. So, with that being said, I'll give you guys my number 3. I want to also just shout out an honorable mention if that's cool with you guys.
Go ahead, dude.
The Gun Club and Max Caster versus the Dark Order from Dark, and I was texting you guys to check it out. Very rarely, I watch Dark almost every week, but very rarely other matches that really open my eyes. This got a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd, and well deserved. This was awesome, and the trio of Austin Colton and Max Caster have been so much fun, and it's been by accident because Anthony Bowens got hurt, and the Gun Club has really come into their own with Max Caster. I loved it. This match was great. They got the win. Nice little side story there. I love them together. So that was my honorable mention. But moving on to number 3 is Mox and Kyle O'Reilly.
Let me tell you one thing, but sometimes the best stuff comes out of stuff that happens by accident.
Yes.
Because they need to improvise because somebody...
Who knows? Maybe the stuff with Punk getting hurt is going to be one of the more memorable things from Forbidden Door. Like maybe we're going to get a great match with Mox and
when
Tanahashi.
WWE, the flight was late and they had to bring in the NXT guys and it led up to that Survivor Series. In the last few years, that was one of the best times in WWE, and then they just dropped it after Survivor.
Yeah. Like a good case as well for mistakes happening and then it being actually like a good thing. Me, for example, I was an accident and look at how far I've come here.
For Turtle Nom Nom, she's asking what is the best program to come out of a battle royal? I would say probably Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle would probably be off top end, or Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho build up to WrestleMania.
Steve Austin
19. That was probably my favorite where Christian came out as Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels came out as number 1 in 2003. And it built up the feud all the way to WrestleMania 19.
We're forgetting a major one because she said, and of course, like you're gonna jump on this, but she said that didn't include the Final Four, but Hogan and the Warrior at the Royal Rumble.
That's true.
That wasn't the Final Four. That was a freaking awesome moment.
Yeah, the Rumble has a lot of built-in stuff, and the Battle Royals are a little different because the way they're structured. And I know they don't want to completely rip off the Royal Rumble, but the casino thing has its unique feel. I kind of like it. It's coming into its own.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, dude, it was like chaos as well. And this will go into my number 3. My number 3, with an honorable mention, I will say that the Mox and Kyle O'Reilly match was up there. I think this was tied for number 3, but my number 3 would have to be the Battle Royal as well. It's just like perfect chaos, like synergy. It was great. You know, you had, I think people in the back were suffering with the trons and the music at one point. They're all out of sync with each other. It was funny. It was chaos. It was fucking beautiful. Yeah. And like I said, the Swerve Keith Lee thing, that really got me pumped for maybe they can start a program, or maybe this was just a one-off thing. Maybe they can turn this into an angle or something like that. Very here for this. And yeah, that's my number 3. I loved it.
AC, baby, I interrupted you. Did you get your number 3 in?
I did say Mox and Kyle O'Reilly, but not much really to say on it aside from it was a great match, hard hitting, strong style. Both these guys went out there. I love Kyle O'Reilly, but I don't think he should not have been in this spot. I think it was the wrong booking decision, but they made the best of it. The main event rocked. But it was a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
It was a very weird thing to do. And
I wouldn't buy oxygen from Kyle O'Reilly, let alone his
I think he's great in the ring, but he's missing something. And I think all of Undisputed Elite or Era, whatever you want to say, they've all been missing something on this AEW run, whether it be Cole. I think Fish is the best one out of all of them right now.
Bobby Fish is the fucking king of the
Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are just missing what they had in NXT. It just doesn't feel like it's clicking for me. And I don't know if it's the booking or it's just something with them. But this match rocked. It doesn't take away from what Kyle can do in the ring. And John Moxley's he is a beast. He'll be next Saturday, June 18th. He'll be in New York defending his GCW championship against Tony Deppen. So can't wait to see all the glass he's going to shatter. But who knows?
Yes.
Maybe the Ace will be in the building. Who knows?
Wait, I got to jump in for 1 second.
Yes.
I agree. O'Reilly was not he wasn't ready for that spot yet, but they gave him the ball to see what he could do with it. And I was okay with that. I was absolutely okay with that, but I agree. It's a little off. He's not in his perfect puzzle piece yet, but I think given time, that spot's waiting for him, but it's just not there yet. And today was just his chance. Go out there, kids, see what you could do. Let's see how this goes, and we'll take it from there.
That's a very fair assessment. I think that, again, I like that they took a risk. I would have liked them to take a risk with Eddie Kingston and put him in that spot instead.
Yeah.
Because they have the built-in story at Moxley. He could have lost, and it would have been like he just came up short again. I like that they're building Eddie Kingston a little bit. I don't like Jake Hager, but at least Kingston has a purpose right now, and I like that because we'll be on our TV cutting fire promos. But good take, OFG. I think that's a good point because they did take a risk.
I do want to say one more honorable mention, Eddie Kingston's promo. I think
he killed it.
cut that completely
Don't
improvised.
count me down. Don't count me down.
Yeah, he does that shit, and he brings the guy up from off the screen with he just wants to wrap up the thing already, and he's just improving on it, and it's fucking amazing. So that's another honorable mention. I just want to bring that up. So,
like it.
My number 3 is Wardlow's promo tonight. Even though I'm not excited about a 20-man match next week, 20-man elimination match, I thought he was awesome on the mic tonight. I thought it was almost like his coming out party. Like he seemed so good. It was his best promo by far. Loved everything about it. Oh boy, I guess so.
OFG, I'll just say this.
Against MJF was way better.
I think Wardlow's good on the mic, and he's good looking, and he has everything, all the tools ready. I just thought the wording was weird. Like, I don't want to win the world championship till Punk happens. Like, he's never been that guy who's just been like a squeaky clean babyface. It was just a weird angle. Like, I didn't want to be in it. I didn't want to win it. Just like it felt weird to me. But I'm also
I want to be a dancer.
I'm also a little bit sour on how they've been booking Wardlow post this MJF thing. I think they've kind of dropped the ball a little bit. But that's a conversation for another time. OFG, take the floor, my friend.
He is a victim of circumstances. The man has talent. It just what happened, it's like he has a storm cloud following him around AEW right now. Like he was the bottle rocket with all the sparks coming out the bottom. It's ready to fly, and then nothing.
Yep.
You said that with such
and it came off that way.
I said you said it with such dustyisms. He is a victim of circumstance, Daddy.
I think it's MJF stuff. I think they didn't do it purposely, and that's why I think it leans on it being more of a beginning, being a shoot, and then he moved into a work. Because you never would have sabotaged this Wardlow thing. His moment got complete, like you said. It was supposed to be this big explosion, like the end of the death match with John Moxley, and it just and it was nothing. Yeah. And they could rehab him, and this whole thing may be really good with the security guard stuff. I like the stuff with Sterling. It's fun, whatever. But he doesn't feel like that transcendent star I thought he'd feel like following Double or Nothing. He's just not that guy right now.
They should have just they shouldn't have pushed him on television with a promo by himself just yet. Like I was okay with it happening, but it felt like, hey, we need something that sounds good enough. Let's do it. And that's how it came off to me on television.
It's fair.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's why.
You got the
salty.
salt with them.
For more
Wait,
salt
no.
on my sneaker.
Double salty.
God damn, that's a lot of salt. You know how inflation works? That's crazy. You got that much salt.
Maybe you would like Wardlow if he was going after the All Atlantic.
He'd have a purpose at least. He's feuding with fucking Mark Sterling right now.
Yeah.
And security guards. He's wrestling against security guards.
He's wrestling cap wrestlers.
Yeah. Who were awesome, by the way. Shout out to Creative Pro.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
A big shootout, fucking Creative Pro. My number 3, since we're just flying through shit, I'm surprised nobody had this as their number 3. It might be, it needs to be up there more, but Hangman versus David Finley. My goodness, David Finley looks like a fucking $1 billion tonight. Last time I seen him, he looked out of shape. He looked fucking like he was just there as a character in fucking New Japan. He came out tonight, completely different person. Fucking handled his own in that match. It was great. Absolutely loved it. I'm here for little Finley Jr. He came out with a shillelagh looking like a badass, and he fucking kicked ass just like his dad did. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Good spot to put him in.
Yeah.
OMG, what do you got?
Everybody's like, yeah.
For number 2 or for that situation?
Number 2, because I'm going to talk about that match as well. Spoiler alert.
There we go. Let's go. Yeah. Let's fucking go.
I got to say, what did I have for number 2? All right, come back to me.
All right, so I'll just elaborate a little bit on Mike Belcaster. Hangman and Finley was awesome. Everything is advertised. This is what you want from the Forbidden Door, to give guys a showcase on a national stage. I think someone like David Finley has come a long way. If you've seen his work in New Japan, he needs a lot of work, and he took this stage and rose to it, and I think he really impressed a lot of people. I'd love to see him get a full-time spot somewhere in here, and I know we talk about AEW being crowded, so maybe it would be Impact or Ring of Honor or even NWA. I'd love to see him have his shot here in the States, because I think, with the lineage of being Finley's son, and the fact that he's really athletic as hell, he has a good look. His face looks just like Fit Finley. It's bizarre.
Love it.
And Fit was never, he wasn't really a tall guy. He was more of like kind of a stout guy, but it was weird. He looked like his dad, and some of his mannerisms were very reminiscent of seeing him in the ring. So it was cool. Obviously Hangman got the win. Hangman looks like $1 million. I think it's very obvious how far Hangman's come since his Ring of Honor and New Japan days too. So a really nice showing for both these guys. It was great to see Hangman back on our TV, because I personally missed them. Being not on TV last week sucked. So I like to have him back. That was my number 2.
I agree with what you said, though. I'm so excited for the Forbidden Door, just to see all these guys who I've heard about for years and haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'm here for it just for that. Like, people like who are salty on it, screw you. Like, I show me, please. Show me what I've been missing. Like, there's more great wrestling out there. Yes, please.
Yeah. It'll have better.
You should dive into it. Do some homework before the Forbidden Door.
New Japan's been struggling too, because they haven't even been allowed to cheer and clap and stuff for a bit. I think they're for Dominion. I think they're going to be allowed to start doing the clapping if they didn't already start doing that. So they were unable to make any noise. So it's hard to have an atmosphere. Think about how wrestling was in 2020. How weird it was for the wrestlers. They weren't getting the reactions they were used to getting. So New Japan was kind of an unwatchable product, in my opinion. Like, Wrestle Kingdom did not have the same feel. I watched bits and pieces of it because, Okada and Shibata are wrestling, so you got to check it out. Or Takagi and all those guys that are there.
Bless you.
Exactly. But the fact that, David Finley has this opportunity to wrestle in front of this live audience it was an electric crowd tonight, let's be honest. It must have been a breath of fresh air for him that he's able to spread his wings and show what he can really do and get the reaction that's justified, because it's hard to, am I doing anything wrong in the ring? They're not really reacting.
I was happy I got to see Okada for the first time, and man, did he land an elbow. Oof.
Thank you, J-Bone. They can clap now, so it is official. But for a while there, they were unable to make any noise, and that's got to be really hard. Really hard.
Tom, you're gonna it's gonna be a messy situation when you see Okada wrestle. I prepare your laundry. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's phenomenal, and
can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's only gonna get better from here.
Yeah.
I'm so
I need to see
fucking pumped
Okada on TBS. Like it is going to be a surreal situation to see him. So
for it. Yeah, I'm here for
I'm ready now.
Okay.
yes,
it.
All right. For my number 2, I'm gonna go Matthews versus Pac. It was just a really good wrestling match. Like I was I'm not someone who's a fan of really flippy gymnastic-y matches, and I was kind of expecting that when it started, and then very slowly they won me over. And my God, that Liger bomb was beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. I wanted to hug the TV. It was fantastic.
no salt on that one.
That's my number 2.
Yeah.
Saltless pretzel on that one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Storm, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm taking it back to Rampage, baby. I'm going Lucha Bros, Young Bucks. These guys step in the ring every time they do. It's gold. Beautiful stuff. They were in LA for this. If you haven't seen the match, go back, watch Rampage. It's great stuff. How can you not love Young Bucks and Lucha Bros in the square circles with each other? So it's great stuff. A lot of Canadian destroyers, beware. But the way they pull some stuff off is great. And then they, I'm hollow-netting.
You're okay. They were California
they're
destroyers.
They're innovative and yeah. There you go. They're innovative every match. It's crazy how much new stuff they can think of, even though they've wrestled each other, several times now. So it's always fun to see that, and yeah, it's always fun to see Lucha Bros and Young Bucks go at it. So that's my number 2.
Dig it, Thomas.
I'm gonna say the debut of Cian Finley. I enjoyed him. I'd never seen him. Hangman looked like gold in that match. Fun match.
David Finley.
David, what'd I say?
Stephen Finley.
Did? Okay.
Yeah.
Finley.
I heard it. Finley. His name is Finley, and he loves to fight. That's all you need to know.
I loved it. I thought it was a great match. He was fun. It's a guy I look forward to seeing more of. So that'll be my
yeah. No, he was fantastic. My number 2 is also the Bucks, Pentagon, Phoenix from Rampage. I thought it was awesome. You can't put those 4 guys in the ring and not have a good time. Like, yeah. It might be the biggest clusterfuck in the world, but they still make it fun. They still make it entertaining, still make it enjoyable. And California Destroyers hit way harder than Canadian Destroyers. It was at both of their hometowns, though. Like the Phoenix and Pentagon they come from Mexico, but they live in California. The Bucks.
Oh, cool.
The first time AEW got to do California, it was a big fucking deal. So that's why they put on such a good show.
I heard TK asked Young Bucks, "You're in your hometown. Who do you want to face?" And they immediately went to Lucha Bros, and I was like, "How could you not?"
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
That's what I'm talking about. Number 3, who's taking the lead? Or sorry, number 1. Who's
back to OFG for number 1.
Let's do it.
Oh, for number 1 was Mox and O'Reilly. That match was beautiful. Beautiful. And the spot that really jumped out. Well, actually, okay, I got a tie. I'm going to go with a tie here. The Mox and O'Reilly match, that pulled me in, and just it was like I say everything it should be a lot, but that really was.
Yeah.
And the spot where his mouth was on the ropes, and then the ropes got kicked. I've actually felt that before, and there is nothing about that feels great. And I was like, I felt it through the TV. But speaking of felt it through the TV, just as good to me was the challenge with Paige and Okada. Like I had goosebumps on my arm. It reminded me back in when the WCW WWF feud was going on, and you never knew who could show up. And when someone came out, it was that slow walk, and you heard the audience go from just you heard them taking in, reacting, and then the roar. And that's what we got with that. And like even talking about it, my arm is getting goosebumps right now. And it's a tough call between those two to me.
Yeah,
that's my personal take.
I like it a lot.
So my number 1 was originally the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks match, but I forgot about this, and it's kind of crazy because we got lost in the conversation. But it was the debut of Will Ospreay here on Dynamite, especially since we didn't know we were going to see him at Forbidden Door with the kidney infection. He's been out since like early May. It's been a serious kidney infection. They weren't sure when he'd be back. They weren't even sure what it was. And he was hospitalized a few times. He's been unable to make certain dates, obviously unable to travel because he hasn't feeling well. And he was in an interview and saying he just didn't know what was wrong with him. So I'm happy to see him that he's healthy. He looked good. And if you haven't seen Will Ospreay, and I kind of went on this rant, so just, Control C, Control V, what I said about Tanahashi. If you haven't seen him, he's great. People have a hard time with Ospreay, and you'll see there's a lot of debates about whether his achievements in New Japan are as good as everybody else. But in the ring, he's so quality. He's so crisp. I'm curious to see what they do with him as far as dream match, because there's so many he can have. His run from 2017 to 2019 in New Japan showed how well-rounded he can be, and they kind of strapped the rocket to him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be making dates as well in GCW as well, which should be a lot of fun. It would be cool to see him in that environment. It's nice to see him traveling through North America.
Absolutely.
People have a hard time with his personality and like the way he depicts himself on TV because he can come across as like goofy or just like trying too hard. But I also think that's also like Japanese wrestling. Like sometimes it's over exaggerated. So I think that's what people are missing with Ospreay. If you're just watching him in a vacuum and you're just like, oh, watching one match of Ospreay, he may come off weird because he's goofy. If you look at some of Kenny's stuff in New Japan, he comes off a little bit campy in some of his promos because of the fact, the cleaner stuff aside, when he was like doing promos, he's over exaggerated because there's a language barrier. So you almost have to make facial expressions that.
Same with Kenny. Kenny does that same thing as well. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
No, I was going to say Will Ospreay is just as good as 2000s Kenny Omega.
100%.
There's if you don't know that, you need to go back and watch Will Ospreay because dude's a fucking rock star.
Yeah, his match with Takahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 14 is the stuff of legends, and I think that's when Will Ospreay really came into the forefront of like, oh, this guy's really good, because he was just known as one of those like flippy spot guys, but he can wrestle all around. Yeah, and I think he's sort of overcoming that spot stuff, and I think he's a really well-rounded wrestler. So I think when people are seeing now what they're going to see this finished product of him, I think this is going to be a coming out party for him, and it's awesome to see him there. And it is weird that he's kind of locked up right now in this like tag thing. And we'll see. Maybe they do a 6-man tag on Dynamite, but just having Ospreay in the States in Dynamite or in AEW on Dynamite, fantastic. So that's my number one.
I will say, don't miss out. Do your homework on Will Ospreay. There's a ton of good matches that come to mind. Kenny, and Will Ospreay and Ricochet is one. There's sheer athleticism between those two opponents is second to none. Go do your research. But that kind of segues into my number one. My number one was an amalgamation of three things, and I'm glad Ace, you and BMX went first, so I could remember these. So the mention of Okada and Page, that was something that I was really excited for when Forbidden Door first got announced. I was like, Hangman's the world champion right now. I don't think Punk was challenging for it at that point or chasing it, and I was like, this has got to be the main event of Forbidden Door. This is. Come on, give me the cheese.
The Italian in.
Yeah, like I was like, this is what has to be on the card, which is Okada and Page, and I'm so glad, like you said, BMX goosebumps, dude. Like I heard that and I said, oh shit, it's about to go down. My other thing as well, Ace, like you stated, was seeing Will Ospreay. Did not expect that. I yelled a little bit. I'm a big Ospreay fan in the ring. I think what he does is fantastic. But my true number one probably have to be Buddy Matthews versus Park. Adrian Neville, whatever. He was my favorite at the time that he was in WWE, and so I'm all for that, whatever it is. And Buddy Matthews has really grown on me in a major way. And it's not just because he's Australian, but that might play into it a little bit. But yeah, I think this match was amazing. Beautiful Liger bomb. I had to change my pants for that one, actually. So,
right?
Yeah, the whole match was amazing. And the whole All Atlantic, that kind of goes back into the whole All Atlantic championship.
Wait, they got a new title? Nah.
Let's fucking go.
All Elite Atlantic Championship title. But yeah, that was yeah. That kind of played into it, but yeah, that was my number one.
I like it. Thomas.
I'm gonna say my number one was Mox and O'Reilly. I love that match. Mox is just so freaking good in the ring. Love him. O'Reilly impresses me in the ring. So
Yeah, he's like Bryan Danielson. Like he's very very similar to Bryan Danielson, and
Great
something's
comparison.
missing in this run, but I know it's there. We've seen him in Ring of Honor be a fucking badass. You've seen him in NXT, aside from that one little main event. Remember, who's that weird punk rock guy with Undisputed Era? Be badass. You want to see more. He was the highlight of Undisputed Era for me. Like, you know, air guitaring on those titles. Something's missing here. I don't know, but the in-ring style is still good.
He should turn on Fish and go on his own and just become this vicious thing. And
I think the same with Bobby Fish as well. Like I just
Yeah.
want them all to be singles. Like
yeah, I agree. Bobby Fish has been amazing.
it was cool at first to see the Undisputed Era, right? Because that's like, oh shit, like 2 months ago this wasn't happening, and now all of them are in AEW from a different company. You know what I mean? So that was cool to see, but like then it's like, I don't know. I think
It's like the 2002 version of NWO version of Undisputed Era. It's just like hollow. It doesn't have the same level of feel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to admit that, but like, yeah, that's just what it is.
And O'Reilly and Fish have both looked better than Cole in the ring, and we know.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell's going on with him.
Here's my puzzle piece for that. Bobby Fish looks like a wrestler. The other two look like they're playing wrestler.
Yeah.
That's like
Bobby Fish has that all-time heel look.
Bobby Fish is every time he gets in the ring, he looks good. Every time he fucking gets on the mic, he's good.
That facial hair tells 1,000 like words. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he looks like a 1950s like Carnival wrestler. Like put him up. Like he looks like that guy. Like the gimmick that the Vaudevillains had back in NXT with Simon Gotch and stuff. Like
he should wrestle a bear next week on Dynamite.
Exactly. That's what I'm
saying. OFG, what were you gonna say? You were shaking your head. I want to know what your thoughts are.
I forgot.
I don't know.
Something about Bobby Fish.
Oh, that's what it was. That kid is the future of wrestling, I think.
See?
Like he's the plant that's not done growing yet, but when he blooms, he's going to be something. I think he's going to bring a whole new element
now. So
I was just going to say that shit. I was trying to take a look up his age.
Yeah, he's in his 40s.
You know Fish is he is 2 years younger than you, OFG.
But he's
not done growing yet, guys. Come on, he's still growing every day, evolving as a person.
Ain't got to get all hot about it, Tom.
No, I think with him, it's just like something's missing with the booking, and once they find it, he's going to take off. That's how I see him. Yeah, like I am a huge fan.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Hey, I think he's won Tony Khan over. That's why he's in a position he is. He came in for a one-match deal, and all of a sudden he got the contract. So
yeah.
Like talent like that, you can't overlook it. It'll outshine all by itself, and he's got it.
Yeah, the other thing about Bobby Fish is eventually when he wants to not wrestle full time, and being 45 is, who knows? He's wrestling a limited schedule. He could help a lot of guys structure matches in the ring. He's been wrestling all over the world for a very long time, so he can help put together matches, and it's only good for the younger wrestlers. Like for a guy like Dante Martin to like pick his ear, or pick his brain, I should say. Don't pick his ear. It would be something like that's good, because you're not just getting the mindset of someone who's wrestled main events. He's kind of one of those guys who's toiled in the mid card for a long time, and it's good to also talk to those guys about how they structure matches and deal with being a mid card guy. You know,
and it's also like he's an AEW, so his schedule favors his body. And
100%. Yeah.
We
may get another 10 years out of Danielson because of this. You know what I mean? Like that's how crazy it is.
Bobby Fish is going to go down as the Dean Malenko of the Undisputed Era. Like something tells me he's not going to get the recognition he deserves, but he's going to be the guy in back that's fucking handling shit.
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy you go back, watch matches, be like, fuck, what a gem, you know? Once he's done wrestling. Yeah, that's what I feel like. I was big on Bobby Fish when he came into AEW. Did he have a match against Suzuki? Was that one of his first ones?
I think so. It was definitely, I think it was like his second one or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Like, it was fucking amazing.
Well, he came in prior to both Cole and O'Reilly. He was just kind of doing his own thing for a bit, which was a weird signing out of all of them.
He had a match with Punk as well. Like,
a
lot of people overlook like his run in AEW so far, like which is
that might have been his first match versus Punk. That might have been the match that brought him in.
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. My number one, Pac and Buddy Matthews, underrated match on the card. It was so good. They announced it. Nobody gave a shit. They put the title on the line. They're putting them in the bracket. It spiced things up a little bit. It wasn't a typical Pac Buddy Matthews match either. It was something that changed the vibe of like a 205 Live match. It had
Yeah.
meaning. It was important. It wasn't fucking just, hey, go out there and do flips and fucking get your shit in, guys. It was a fun, very fucking meaningful match. So that's all.
It was quicksand, but in a good way, right?
Yeah, sunk me right into it. I loved it. I was absolutely there. I put a little sweet tea and an umbrella.
Well, hopefully they bought you dinner
that was
first, Mike BELCASTER. Come on.
Right? Hey. But no, I thought it was great. I thought it was a fucking awesome match.
Yeah, I do want to touch on like when this match got announced last night for me, but maybe early morning for you guys. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. And then they kind of unveiled it in the whole tournament thing, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. How they just kind of showed it off now. And I think that kind of overshadowed the match a little bit because I was checking my phone constantly. I had to go back and watch the match after Dynamite finished airing because I missed most of it, and I'm glad I did because like I'm glad I did go back and watch it because it was fucking phenomenal. I can't talk enough about this match. So
Yeah.
I think it had meaning after they announced it was for the bracket for the fucking.
The bracket's
match.
cool too. The graphics look great. And first of all, we didn't even talk about like lost in it. The title should be there. The title is probably one of the best looking titles in wrestling right now. It looks amazing.
Nobody could argue that.
Looks great.
Yeah. What is like a mid South North American?
It looks like a
title,
mid South inspired
kind of inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tony has his finger on the pulse of the history of wrestling. Obviously the Owen Hart Cup stuff is based off Stampede Wrestling, so he definitely has a feel for when things look authentic, and the titles always hit. You mean you could say whatever you want about if they should be there. Every one of those titles are a thing of beauty in the company.
Have you seen the world title? Ugh.
Which one?
The world title?
AEW one. It looks good.
That's right. The
Dude, that
AEW World Championship.
Garbage to me. I hate that.
What?
Wow.
Tom, what the?
That's the hot take of the night right there.
Man, heat. We got heat, Tom.
Dude, that might be the nicest looking. Big gold aside, might be the nicest world championship in a very long time. Winged Eagle has me, it's nostalgia vibe.
Very early debate shows.
You know why? You know why?
Adore that championship belt.
You know why? I think Tom just hates gold in general because he gambles so much and he loses a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
You know the price of gold right now, damn it, Nick Storm.
What are you saying, Mike?
You owe
that
everyone an apology. You owe me an apology.
No, it looks like a
gorgeous.
piece of metal garbage.
It's not even metal. It's gold and beautiful and shiny.
I'm not a fan.
Man.
I love the tag team belts.
it's huge. It looks like something big. I'm just glad
yeah.
it's not just the fucking logo, and that's the main plate. Thank God.
Yeah,
awesome.
Adam Cole can't even
WWE
hold the
titles
belt.
are
It's bigger than
right
he
now.
is.
There's not
What
one.
did you say, Tom?
WWE titles are complete crap right now. There's not one.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say they were a lot better.
So I don't know if I can go for another 10 minutes about arguing about the AEW World Championship. Just know I'm angry at you, and I'm gonna take this up with you later.
All right,
Please.
fair enough. Let's let the big man say
It's
it.
time for the main event.
And we're just gonna talk about fucking titles. No, let's diverge from it. Yeah, holy shit, what a hot take! Anthony knows those hot takes the best.
Hot take, get your hot takes here.
Yeah, hot takes here. Hey, you want to taste? You want to fucking taste? Main event, number one moment from the last fucking week. Obviously, we're starting with OFG BMX because he is the man with the plan.
Oh God.
Oh God. Oh, gee, Rick.
Can you come back to me?
Could be something you mentioned already. It doesn't need to be something
I know my
fresh.
match of the week.
No, I got quite a few notes, and
Main event.
there's a lot of. Just come back to me.
All right.
All right, so I have two things. I have a match of the week and a moment of the week, and I know it's sort of cheating, but we make our own rules here on the AEW wrap-up show. So match of the week, I have Buddy versus Pac, and I thought that match was awesome. You guys said everything I was going to say. It's strong style. The match had meaning. It also, the two of those guys went out and showed out. We don't see enough of Pac do his thing. I think he's one of the more talented wrestlers that doesn't get the opportunity to show what he can do. If you watch the early days of AEW, he submitted Kenny Omega. So like they had big plans for him. He got kind of lost in the sauce here in AEW.
He got injured.
He got injured too, but it was also an attitude thing because he wouldn't put over Omega. If you remember that, because he was undefeated since his time in he left WWE and then was undefeated all in the Indies. So he didn't want to lose to Omega. If you remember that story.
Yeah.
So I think he rubbed people the wrong way, but whatever it is, I think this match was amazing. Buddy has come such a long way since his time in NXT when he was tagging What was his tag team partner? Blake
and Murphy. Yeah.
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 Managing
So just think about that and where he came from. Go back and watch some of those matches. Just the transformation of his body too. He looks like a main eventer now. Or you know what? He also looks like a mid-carder going for the All Atlantic Championship. He looks awesome. This match was great. My moment of the week, it wasn't a good moment, but it was probably one of the more memorable moments in wrestling that we're going to see in quite some time. It's CM Punk surrendering the title for the time being. This created this whole chaotic situation we have going on with the world title. We're going to get some fun moments out of this. Tanahashi challenging for the AEW World Championship. He would have had the opportunity to challenge for it. I don't think he would have had the opportunity to win it. Now we may get that, and that's going to change the course of what AEW looks like. It might be just getting ahead of myself here with Tanahashi potentially holding the title, but this would not have been possible if Punk was still active. So at least it's a possibility now.
He's going to win it.
I agree. I think so too.
I definitely think so.
I don't think it's a hot take. I just think it's the way, and I said this on the in the news segment that Nick and I did. And if you guys want to go back and check our predictions out of what we think about with Forbidden Door and all that stuff, it's on the Tavern. Just check it out in the news. I had said it's the easiest way to keep the linear path of where you were going. You don't want to stray too far. I mean, of course, you can take all these side roads and have a little fun with it, but the easiest thing to do is stay on the path, put the title on Tanahashi. Next time Punk gets back, he can wrestle Tanahashi. They were going to have the match anyway.
Makes
so
sense.
It's the easiest way. And it also builds good faith with AEW and New Japan because going back and forth, you have AEW having their talent win other titles. How many times have they won titles in New Japan, titles in Impact, titles in AAA? Not one person from a different company has won the AEW championships before. And this will be a level of good faith. You want to have this sort of Forbidden Door being open both ways. It swings both ways. So it would go a really long way to show other companies, hey, we're here to play ball, and it goes on both sides.
Fuck with it.
Yeah. My main event probably has to be... I was trying to think of this, and I freaking have no clue, man. So much good shit happened. Like, the fact you mentioned CM Punk, that whole thing on Rampage, that was really huge. But I'm probably going to have to go with what I stated in my number one as an honorable mention, which was Okada Page. Like, the thought of that makes me drool out of my freaking mouth. Like I'm an 80-year-old or something.
Yeah.
As opposed to drooling out my goddamn toes. No, super excited for this. Can't speak on it enough. I think I said everything in my number one, but yeah,
it's spoken. You did good though.
Spoken,
I like it.
Yeah.
Tommy.
All right. My number one match of the week, Pac versus Buddy Matthews. I've been a huge Buddy fan since I used to love when he would do the pre-show matches on the WWE pay-per-views with Aleister Black.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the best matches of the night when they fought, and I could have watched them for every week. They had that run on Raw. I think he's so friggin' good. I can't wait to see more from him. I was so excited when I heard this match was announced tonight before we knew that there was going to be a title involved. I just wanted to see them wrestle. I was so freaking stoked. So the match lived up to what I thought it would be. So, and again, Pac, I don't think he's been booked like he thought he would in AEW. I don't know if it's the attitude, if it's the pandemic whole thing with the pandemic where he couldn't get back in the country hurt him.
That's a good point too. I forgot about that. He was stuck without the visa.
Yeah. So, but the guy. I
do want to say this was Buddy Matthews' AEW singles debut as well.
Oh, really?
Wow, that says a lot. He's been on the roster for quite some time.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so freaking good. So.
Yeah. Stoney, you good? Or you need more time? I got you.
You know, I wasn't prepared for this. Let's call this a rookie mistake. So I apologize. I had my moments and matches together. I wasn't expecting this one, but
it's all good.
Since it's here, and now that I had a couple minutes to think about it, I gotta stick with the Page Okada. Like just everything about that moment, everything Nick Storm just said. Where you at?
He's up there somewhere.
Like everything he just said, it still stands true. And everything I felt earlier, like I said, goosebumps. It's a moment, and in a show with lots of promos, for one to stand out and grab you really means something, and it was just really well executed to me.
I dig it.
Well said, OFG. Well said.
That's why my main event is all the hype going into Forbidden Door right now, because it's building very nicely, including the Punk surrendering the title for the interim bullshit. But like we're getting moments I don't think we've ever seen, including Ospreay coming out, Okada, Hangman calling out Okada this week. It was gorgeous. And if you followed any of that storyline, this is the markiest shit in the world for us. And like, this is like the ultimate, like, hey, you paid attention for 10 years. Let's fucking go. Like, it's awesome. And I'm so fucking here for it. I can't wait to see what's next.
Let's fucking go.
I love it. Yeah.
People don't understand too. Like, this is for other fandoms, and I know we're all wrestling fans here, and people in the chat are wrestling fans, obviously. But this would be like Star Wars universe collapsing into Marvel too. Like that is the ultimate forbidden door, where you can have like Iron Man interact with Luke Skywalker, and you never expected to see it, and here we are. I mean, obviously, Hangman and Okada could have interacted but the final product of Hangman wasn't done until he got to AEW. So this is a different Hangman than the one that was originally in New Japan.
Absolutely.
So, same thing with Punk and Tanahashi. Like, you'd have never gotten this match. Think about when Punk was still in WWE. He was locked up there. Bryan Danielson too, eventually going to get the run. I was hoping he'd be in the G1 this year. I don't think he is. They announced the participants. He's not going to be there. But I think maybe next year we get him in the G1 throughout the summer. Like, we need Bryan to wrestle all those matches through the G1 tournament, because that's what we've been waiting for him.
Yeah. It's Pizza the Hut meets Doctor Strange. It's a wild time.
It's everything.
Spaceballs.
He's not wrong.
I gotta get my Spaceballs references in, man. I got to.
All right, get your shit in, Nick Storm. They got Spaceballs in Australia.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Merchandising.
No, I listen. I can't argue with any of it. I think this pay-per-view is gonna be the most underrated pay-per-view of the year. I really do. I think this is gonna blow the fucking shit out of the water.
The build for this, man, compared to Double or Nothing, I won't lie. I'm super pumped for this. Like, it's kind of crazy. So
yeah, it's got official fucking sale. Let's go.
Tyson throwing heat your way, my man.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, shit's gonna get crazy. It's gonna be a good fucking show.
I love those memes with Punk, where like when you just want to go home and get food, and your friend's like hyping you up at the bar, he's just like, his eyes are this big.
Dude, I see that everywhere now. It's hilarious.
You forget like how late it actually was. I mean, it was West Coast time, so it wasn't that late. But he's up there for 3 hours still talking. The energy level of Tony Khan is unreal. So
ready, roll. We're gonna fucking him up. We're taking Adderall, and we are a fucking ball. Let's fucking go.
That dude's just built different, man. Like, he has an energy level that cannot be compared to. He picked the right business to get into. Owning a
he's got more energy
franchise
than me, and I'm
20.
I'm half his age, and he's got more freaking energy than me. I don't get him. I don't understand it.
Listen, man, if I owned a wrestling company and I was running the Jacksonville Jaguars in some capacity, and then Fulham Football Club,
two wrestling
I'd be all
companies,
about it too, man.
Fucking the Jaguars.
You know, like a soccer team. Jesus.
Yeah, you own soccer.
Fulham, yeah. But going back to the All Atlantic Championship, they want to run that building that Fulham plays. I forget what it's called. It's like something, I forget, but it's one of the coolest venues in London. Yeah, something Cottage. It's one of the coolest venues, and that's one of the first dates they're making there. And then they're going to probably try to make all big buildings in London when they go to the UK. So I'm hoping that this title plays a part of it. Very nice.
Anyway, I look yours better.
A lot of fun tonight. And just remember, guys, people watching, we're having fun debating. There's no personal animosity going on here.
You're
Wait,
wrong.
does not? No.
I hate all you guys. The only person I care about is this Adam Cole figure. That's the only person.
The AEW title is the most beautiful title in all existence.
It's just, I mean, you guys are allowed to be wrong. I mean, I can be minority and be right.
So are you, Thomas. It's okay. It's okay. They're there.
This was a lot of fun, guys. All joking aside, this is what I'm here
I
for.
love
Wrestling
debates.
debates, man. This is so much fun.
It's just makes it fun, and to have people to have good spirited debates with, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
No one else wants to listen to me, so I'm glad you guys will entertain me. Because before I had this platform to talk with you guys, I would just be yelling at myself in the mirror like, I love the All Atlantic Championship. I think it's amazing.
I love the. I can just imagine you going. You're gonna love the.
MJF is a shoot. It's just like in the
a
mirror.
Work. It's a shoot.
What's a work? What's a shoot? It's a work. It's a shoot.
Pulling hairs
Young
out
Anthony
one by one.
Made a good comment. Maybe we should like kind of have a swear jar for work and shoot. If you say work or shoot, you got to Venmo the Chads, and that becomes our petty cash. If you say work or shoot, starting
then Hawk will spend it all.
Yeah, Hawk's the only one that uses the petty cash. It doesn't work.
Yeah, well, if we go that route, we're all gonna have we'll have a brand new office rent free for the next year if we all pay $5 per work shoot. That was said probably over under
$10.
Not 900 times in the chat that weekend, right? Work and shoot had to be said 900 times, right?
Easily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Guys, it's that sad time of the fucking week. It's time to get our shit in. Say goodbye. We're going to start with our beautiful, lovely guest, OFG. BMX, get your shit in, kid.
Before I get any of my shit in, thank you guys for having me on. This is the second time I've done this. You guys are awesome to hang out with, and the vibe is just really inviting, and I feel at home. And like after the last time, and I'm sure it's going to be the same way this time, after it was over, just for the rest of the night, I'm like, man, that was such a good time. So thank you guys for what you do. If you want to find out what I do, you can find out more about Old Fat Guy BMX on Instagram or Old Fat Guy BMX on Facebook or on YouTube, Old Fat Guy BMX. I get older people back onto bikes, back having fun, finding one of the passions they had when they were younger, and so far it's worked, and that's what I got.
That is awesome, man. Good for you, and you're making a difference in people's lives. All joke, like seriously, that's an amazing thing you're doing. Getting people back in shape. Get out there, get active, spend some time in the sun.
I need
some vitamin D in your life, guys. It's so important, and get some exercise. And what's more fun than BMX, man? Check out his site. Buy some merch.
Yes,
please buy merch.
Buy all the merch.
So you guys can find me at ACEFIELD Retro on Instagram. You guys can also find me Fridays 8 p.m. taped, but Shot of Nostalgia, where we're talking about 1996 WCW. Right now, Honor Society is on a little bit of a hiatus. We're going to be on like not a bi-weekly, but as needed scheduling based on the fact that we have no TV deal. As far as conjecture goes, it's just hard to talk about things until we have that TV deal. We've kind of talked to death about what it could look like. Once we have what it looks like, we're definitely going to be returning on a weekly basis. We're going to be previewing Death Before Dishonor when that pay-per-view comes up. Once we have a card, we're definitely going to do that preview show and talk everything you need to know about Ring of Honor. I put out a statement on Instagram that says a little bit of the same thing I just said to you out loud. It's not going away. Honor Society is still a very important part of the tavern. We're going to be covering Ring of Honor. We are striving to be the best ROH source on all the wrestling internet. So make sure you guys stay tuned with that. We're still around. Also, you guys check me out as well. Like I said, on Instagram, I'm posting all the time.
Oh, wait, that's not what you meant.
What was that?
I said, how are you doing when you said check me out?
Yeah, check me out. And I'm also planning on being on sessions as long as everything goes right. I'll be on sessions with my good friend Tom. We'll be talking about a topic that you guys will not want to miss. So make sure you guys check that out.
We're going to be going in deep, guys. It's nothing. Trust me. Friday morning sessions, me, Mike, and Ace, listen to it. You're going to walk away with all new thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Perfect. Well, that's all that aside. That's beautiful. And I'm going to watch all that and listen to all of that. And I'm going to go to ofgbmx.com. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And but you can find me everywhere on at Nick Storm Review when it comes to Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find me on Fig Night Tuesdays live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for all your wrestling figure talk. And if you want wrestling figure content, otherwise, yeah, at Nick Storm Review on everything. What are we plugging? Freems for? Thanks to Freems for the raid. He gave us like 40, 50 viewers at one point, and that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Freems, for that. Beautiful,
Freems
beautiful
is killing
man.
it right now. Freems had our raid, and he's also like viral on the internet right now, guys. I'm not going to say take away his shine at all, but just talk to Freems. He's viral right now, so he's doing good stuff.
He's viral like a COVID case, baby. A bang.
Yes.
Relative timing.
Too soon.
Not
Guys,
soon enough. Oh my God, so late.
do not forget, guys, to find out where you could follow, like, subscribe to us everywhere. Go to turnbuckletavern.com. You'll get all of our social media. You'll see where we're streaming. You'll get our podcast. Make sure you go today. And most importantly, join the Discord. Come chat with us. Come talk with us. We're hanging out there. We're talking wrestling. We're talking figures. We're talking food. We're talking pets. It's just a great time. We're all there. So come visit.
Yes.
Also, can I just give a shout out quick to Extra Cooler? Great pod. First of all, great guy. He rebranded my whole logo for ACEFIELD Retro. It looks amazing. You guys check it out on Instagram. He did a couple variations. There'll be some stickers I'm creating. So thank you so much, Extra Cooler. Check out his stuff. He does commission. He also has his other art and shirts and stuff. Great guy, great artist. Part of the community here. Make sure you guys support him. He's so uber talented. I wanted to say that and put him over.
He's done personal work
it
for me. He made a gift for my wife last year that was just amazing. I think I showed it to you, Mike. Anyway, like he could do anything you need. He is great. Extra cooler on any of his social media.
Yeah, and a great podcast too. They do a good job. They were doing like a Nitro watch along the other day.
Absolutely.
For the first Nitro, they kill it, and they're just great wrestling fans and great conversation. So Matt and Nick, follow them on Instagram.
Hell yeah, and yeah, I got nothing else to add because you all said everything I could possibly think of. Thank you guys for joining us. It was a fun time, and yeah, until next week, I think it's time to say goodbye. Everybody, give a good wave. A good poetic wave to the crews and everything.
We love you guys.
There's Tom and Deep Thoughts.
It's all
Deep
love.
Thought
It's just
Thoughts.
title belts, guys.
Yes.
That,
Except the trios titles are coming.
We all
They're
had
coming.
the same taste. It would be boring. So listen,
True.
we're here for it.
That's Tom thinking about titles and what's better than the AEW title.
Wait,
anyway,
what did you show? I had the screen off.
I showed your beautiful headshot. So this is you thinking about the titles.
That was many years ago and a lot more hair.
That's
it's fantastic.
It is. It's
I
fantastic.
was
I'll
actually
donate some of
setting
mine.
up a photo shoot that day and had to test the lighting out. And I
You
became my
very
own
very Bob Ross-esque photo there. I love it. Anyway, I'm good old Mike Belcaster. As always, this terrific fucking crew. And we will see you guys next week. Tom, hit him with the business.
love, peace, and pro wrestling.
There you go.